Hi, it's Steve Smith here, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about my new book called 50 Lesson Plans for French Teachers, which has just come out. It's available from Amazon, and it's something I was working on during the months of March, April, and May during lockdown. Let me tell you something about this book and why it might be useful to you. It contains 50 descriptions, step-by-step descriptions of French lessons that can be used at various levels. 20 of them, part one of the book, are really for beginners or near beginners, let's say the first 2, maybe 3 years of secondary school. Then there's a second section of 20 lessons at a more intermediate level, broadly speaking, in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. That would be GCSE level. And then there are 10 lessons for more advanced level students. So it's called 50 Lesson Plans for French Teachers, Step by Step. And that's what I think might be different about this book. It is aimed mainly at teachers who are learning the craft of teaching, teacher trainees or perhaps inexperienced teachers who want to develop their lesson planning skill. So the lessons can be taken and simply used as they stand. But my idea is that they would also serve as models, examples of lessons that could run along similar lines. And in fact, in the book I've left plenty of space for teachers to write notes. So if they try out a lesson, they can tweak it, they can write notes about what went well, or perhaps add steps. And although most of the lessons could be done in one single lesson, I'm very well aware of the fact that in many schools, lesson length varies. So you might have a lesson of, let's say, 40 minutes, or you might have one of 2 hours. So the lessons could go over more than one contact period, or they might fit into one contact period. So the material is adaptable, I would say, but it really is, I think, something I've never seen before, a book of actual lesson plans for French teachers. So the format is that each lesson is introduced with a brief rationale for the methodology used and the type of activities chosen. And let me be clear here, there's no one methodology being advocated here. There are a range of different teaching styles involved, some more teacher-led, some more to do with pair work or whole group milling around sort of work. There are lessons in the tradition of communicative methodology, sort of lexicogramma chunking, sort of a la Conti type approach. There are, I think, a total of about 4 or 5 lessons with that sort of focus. There's even some grammar translation in there, as well as the sort of oral situational approach using question, answer, and drilling and so on to help students acquire language. So it's a real kind of potpourri, if I could use that phrase, to help young teachers or new teachers get an idea of what's possible. So in most cases, the resources and the exercises needed are on the printed page. So there are many photocopyable pages in the book. It is of A4 format for that reason. And some of the lessons are linked to PowerPoint presentations, which can be found on a page on my website, FrenchTeacher.net. That's a free page which anyone can look at. Just go to free stuff. In fact, many of the resources are either from FrenchTeacher.net or adapted from FrenchTeacher.net, and I did write a handful of new material, new resources completely. So you'll find in the 50 lessons information gap tasks, listening tasks, reading tasks, sentence building, PowerPoint lessons to do with grammar, phonics, vocabulary. There's a couple of tasks based on parallel reading. You can find texts of different types and how to exploit those, pair work games, picture sequences. There's even some grammar translation in the A-level section. There's one in the beginners section about how you might exploit a dialogue. I've got an online food shopping task in there. There are also lessons to do with modelling writing, and there's one lesson in the intermediate section about how you might exploit a knowledge organizer. There's listening, there's modelling. In the advanced section, there's something on exploring literature and film themes, and that's not all. There's other stuff in there, but that just gives you a flavour of the range of types of lesson that you would find. So I hope this is something that new teachers will find very useful. and I thank you very much for listening.